Howdy folks, Everett Johnson coming to you live, editor of Texas Saltwater Fishing Magazine. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So, lots going on in the fishing community right now. Just going to take a couple minutes and run down two major issues. First of all, I want to talk to you about a proposed regulatory package Coastal Fisheries Division of Parks and Wildlife have put forth to the commission, and what it basically is going to do is be an extension of the emergency regulations last summer. 3 trout, 17 to 23 inches, no fish longer than 23. That was what we had last April through the end of August in Laguna Madre, everything south of the JFK Causeway. So, learning more about the freeze and the effect on the fishery, and all the gillnet survey data is in, and the Coastal Fisheries Division are now wanting to re-implement that 3 fish bag limit in the Laguna Madre. And they think it also a good idea to extend it up the coast through the Middle Coast bays, including all of East Matagorda. So they presented to the commission. The commission green-lighted it to take it public. They published it in the Texas Register, and now they are about to commence a series of scoping meetings, as they're called, to gauge public comment, seek public comment, and we got 4 of those coming. These are published in the January issue of our magazine, one in Port Isabel, one in Corpus Christi, one in Rockport, and one in Port Lavaca. I heartily encourage everybody, if you can attend the in-person meeting, do so. If not, you will be able to submit your opinions, comments via electronic portal at www.tpw.texas.gov. Very important to let them know what you think of this. Now, what are they hoping to accomplish? Okay, first off, they're looking to provide an increase in spawning biomass. That means adult trout capable of laying eggs. And the new regulation, if approved by the commission, it's not a law yet, if approved by the commission, will become effective sometime in spring 2022 and will continue through August 31, 2023. Now, lots of folks always like to say, well, Parks and Wildlife are good at taking away but never giving back. This provision has a sunset clause. August 31, 2023, it is the intention of the Coastal Fisheries Division at that time to revert to the current 5 fish bag limit. So, get to a meeting, express your opinion. If you can't do so, please do it on the electronic portal. And we're going to move along now to oyster harvest. Many of you perhaps are already aware that Hurricane Ike devastated about 80% of Galveston Bay's oyster reefs, covered them in thick blankets of silt. And Galveston Bay, it's our largest bay and historically the largest producer of oysters. So, with that fishery on the ropes, the mobile fleet, they can work anywhere. They just have to find a place to dock. The oyster boats began to migrate south, and they settled first in Matagorda and some in San Antonio. And now the spotlight is on San Antonio and parts of the Aransas complex. How great is the oystering effort? In 2019-2020 season, the commercial fleet removed more than 500,000 sacks of oysters. How many oysters are in a sack? Approximately 200. Now, how does that compare to the total number of oysters available? Nobody really knows that, but it is continuously gauged by Parks and Wildlife with sampling ongoing through oyster season to determine the abundance of market-size oysters, meaning larger than 3 inches. So some areas get closed because the oysters become too few. Some areas get closed because of unfavorable water quality, freshwater inflows, etc. The oysters not being safe to eat. But right now on the Middle Coast, we've got a great number of boats strung between San Antonio and the Uranza system. And there's a growing concern among recreational anglers and a long list of non-governmental organizations, conservation groups especially, that the reefs are being over-harvested to the extent that some of them may not be able to recover naturally. What that means is the crown of the reef is being knocked completely flat down to whatever substrate it was established upon. Very dangerous situation. So we had a bad year this past summer, 2021. Incredible amounts of rain. Some areas between Port O'Connor, Seadrift, Rockport recorded as much as 100 inches of rainfall between the end of April and maybe the end of October. Now, anybody who's familiar with this area, rainfall is only about 45 inches average annually. Huge freshwater inundations are harmful to oysters, yet the fleet continues to work looking for the last sack of oysters that they can sell, and that's how they make their living. Something has to happen. Texas Parks and Wildlife is on top of the problem. You'll see a great presentation from CCA in our January issue discussing many of the ins and outs. There's no easy fix, folks. This is going to take some major management changes, decisions be made. So, it's January. Let's get on the water. Practice catch and release with trout as much as you can. And don't forget, please, take a kid fishing. Adios.